All right, let's talk about validation. Validation basically means that you're going to validate, you're going to check that if the data that is coming to you, to your database, before inserting the database, you need to check if that data is even valid or not. So a good example would be if someone is entering their age, right? You don't want them to be putting hello over there. Well, age can only be a number like 23, 25, 35, 36, right? So that kind of validation. And why we perform validation is that if we don't perform validation, then anyone can put anything in the database. So they can put hello for their age, or they can put whatever, you know. So that's why you must never trust the data that is coming from the user. Always validate, and then if the validation fails, if the data is invalid, then you have to show some sort of a message to the user that, hey, well, you cannot have this username because that username is already taken. So right now, what I have actually already done is I've created a migration and I already ran it. It's adding a username column to the post table. So if I go over here, you can see that now my post table has a username column. All right, and it can only be characters, so I cannot enter numbers in there, only alpha characters, basically alphabets. So first thing first, I need to add that particular field to my or property to my post model. You can see the post only has title and body, it doesn't have username. So let's go ahead and add that. User name, data, oh, let's say just username, and define it like over here, because we are defining multiple things. Data types dot string. Okay, so username is string. It's going to hold string, not numbers. Is it going to be unique? Well, yeah, it's going to be unique. Username is unique. And this is the validation part. Like how do you, or what kind of validation you want to happen on the username. So I'm going to say is alpha true. Now you might be saying, where is this coming from? Well, Sequelize has some built-in validation like is alpha, is email, and is digit and all that stuff. So look for the validation that you want to perform and you can do that. Now if you are performing some custom validation like I don't know, is like the last four of your username must be these alphabets, you know, then you have to write your custom validation for that. But we are not going to cover that right now. We're just going to use some built-in validation. So this is going to check or validate against that the username is only alphabets. All right. All right, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all you need to do to enable simple kind of validation. So let's go ahead and use it. Let's go to our app.js and create a post and assign it a number for the username. So models.post.build title, my first post, body, let's say content of the post, and then we have a username. This is a new field that we just added, right? Let's assign 2 over here. It's a number. Definitely it goes against our validation. So if I go to post, you can see the username has to be of type string. Unique is true. Unique is when you are, it has to be unique basically. And also validation I'm doing is that is alphabets. So I can only type alphabets for the username. So let's go back and try to save it. Now the cool thing about Sequelize is that actually it's going to say over here is that automatically runs the validation when you create, update, and save. All right, so you don't have to worry about explicitly firing the validation. So let's go ahead and save it. And once we save it, let's go ahead and print out the new post. And let's go ahead and say new post. All right, let's go ahead and run our server. It's going to fire automatically. And we have a problem. And you look at that. Validation error. Validation is alpha on username failed. So it's cool. It's firing our validation. And that is good. This is good because it's now checking that the user is not entering some garbage data into the post. So now, but the problem is that you don't want to display all of this to the user, right? Obviously, you want to cache the error and you want to, or cache the validation error and show your custom message. Like if you are logging on some sort of a login page of Google or Amazon and your password is incorrect, I'm pretty sure that Google or Amazon is not going to show you this. They're going to show you nice error like, hey, well, your password is incorrect. Try again, right? So let's see how we can do that. So when you're saving all the errors that are triggered, you can catch it. Catching, and then you can cache the error, all right? Function, this is an anonymous function, and let's go ahead and log out the error. So if there's any error thrown, catch is going to catch the error. And this time, this is more of a generalized catch. So it's going to catch any kind of error. All right. Sorry, not general, but it's more of a generic kind of error catching. So any type of error that will be thrown by save, it may or may not be related to the validation. All right. It might be like server is down, cannot even access the internet. Or it might be username is already taken. Or it might be, well, database is full, you know, or cannot even connect to database. This is going to catch them all. Okay. So depending on your criteria, maybe you want it to be more generalized, like saying that, okay, this one is going to only catch the errors related to login failure. And this one is going to catch for username unique failure. All right. But anyway, let's go ahead and save it and see what it prints out on the screen. Now you can see it's catching. So that red thing is gone now, right? So we're catching and we're printing it out. So this is the validation error item, the object, and these are the properties of the error. Now this is of course just, I'm using it, you can use it ERR, you can use it, you can use anything you want over here. You can use cat, you can use dog. This is just a variable name. So what property do I need if I want to display it on the interface? Which of these properties should be a good idea to display? So let's say this one, message. Okay, so let's go back to our code and say error.message. Save it again, and very nice. There we go. And now you can display this on your mustache pages. You can even customize the errors. So check on documentation for that, how you can customize it. Maybe you want to say, sorry, username only takes alphabets, something like that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to read more about it, definitely read about the validation over here. And I think it's, you can see right here, they talk about how to catch specific kind of errors. So this catch is only going to get fired when you are doing a unique constraint failure. This is for validation, any kind of validation error. And this is more of a generalized error. So it can be like, so it's going to go step by step. If the error that is being thrown and if it's handled over here, then it's not going to go to the next one. But if it's like the whole server is failing, so this error is not going to get fired. This error is not going to get fired because it's not of type, server failing is not of type unique constraint error or not a validation error, it's something else. So this is going to capture all the errors, or kind of like a last resort to catch everything, which are unhandled errors. All right. So that's pretty much it. Try out validation errors. Try out some different kind of errors. Like try if you are saving a post and a username is same, then throw an error, right? Maybe check for the email. So do a migration, add a email field, and then check if the error is email or not. And I think the syntax for that is email true. So now it's going to validate that if you are entering the email or your username and the format of an email. It's not going to check that if that email actually exists or not, but it's going to check for the format. So you can't enter like blah blah blah.com. That's not an email. You cannot enter this. You have to enter something like which looks like an email. All right. So it's going to the easy email is going to validate that. That's pretty much it. Try it out and try out different validations.